The e-CFR, or Electronic Code of Federal Regulations. The Electronic Code of Federal Regulations, or e-CFR, is available at ecfr.gov and is an updated version of the Code of Federal Regulations, or CFR. Many people refer to this online tool to see current regulations in the context of the larger CFR volumes. While it's not part of GovInfo, it is accessible from GovInfo. To find the e-CFR, go to Help, Other Resources, click on Regulatory Process Resources, and Electronic Code of Federal Regulations. Here's a bit of background about the CFR. The CFR as a whole is printed once a year. All 50 titles are divided up to be printed on a quarterly schedule throughout the year. Regulations are updated on a daily basis in the Federal Register, or FR. To compile the daily regulatory updates, a monthly list of CFR sections affected is published. This title is accumulated every 3 months. Every issue of the daily FR contains a small section, CFR parts affected during the month. To know what the current regulations in force are, one has to use the latest annual edition of a CFR title published, plus the latest accumulated monthly edition of the LSA, plus any additional monthly LSA volumes that have not yet been accumulated, plus the latest daily issue of the Federal Register for the month you are in. For any updates that are referenced in any of those resources, the actual Federal Register entry will have to be consulted to see what those changes actually were. We can work around all of that using the e-CFR. Again, the e-CFR is the Code of Federal Regulations, but the daily updates are folded into the larger CFR volumes. Those updates are done on a continuous basis, typically 2 business days after the Federal Register indicates a change is in effect. Check the date at the top to see what date regulations have been updated through. The e-CFR is not an official legal edition of the CFR. The e-CFR is an editorial compilation of CFR material and Federal Register amendments produced by the National Archives and Records Administration's Office of the Federal Register and the U.S. Government Publishing Office. The Office of the Federal Register is in charge of making updates to the e-CFR on a daily basis. To use the e-CFR to look at regulations that are in force now, from the e-CFR homepage, note the update date first. Then use the drop-down box to find the CFR title you are interested in. For example, Title 14, click Go, select 400 through 1199, and then Part 420, Aeronautics and Space, License to Operate a Launch Site. Continue to drill down until you get to the content you want. Simple searches can also be used to find e-CFR content. These options are typically used when regulations on a subject are needed or when there is an incomplete citation. Click Simple Search on the left side and type in your keyword or subject, for example, Apple. Click Refine this search. Here, researchers can narrow down where the words are to be found by changing the full text default in the drop-down box. Boolean operators can also be used. The search results may also be limited to a particular title of the CFR by entering it into the box. Boolean and proximity searches may also be performed using the links on the left side. The e-CFR also has a way to look at regulations in force or in effect on a particular day. On the left side, click on the Browse Search Previous button. Use the drop-down boxes to specify on what date the regulations should be in force. For example, January 1st, 2017. Click Go. From there, browse to the content you want or use the search options on the left side. This feature is available for e-CFR content dating back to 2015. Again, this website is jointly managed by the Office of the Federal Register and the U.S. Government Publishing Office. Reading the user info and the frequently asked questions pages on the left side can help direct questions to the appropriate agency and expedite your answer.